Brian Sebastian. You're watching Movie Reviews and More. Got an interview coming up with Johnny Buss. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. We finally get a chance to sit down and talk to you. It's interesting. We've known each other for a while, but we never had a chance to do this. And you've never known really what I did for a living. And I never really knew what you did for a living. So now we get a chance to see what you're actually doing these days, because you're doing a hell of a lot of things.
Well, let's find out about a lot of stuff.
All right, let's talk about this first. What it's like to be a new father and how rewarding that is for you. How's that?
Fantastic. It's very rewarding after waiting for quite a few years, 54 years. We decided to have children. And I met somebody, a wonderful woman, and I said, hey, do you feel like having kids? I mean, it really was almost as simple as that. And we said, well, let's try it out. And we did. We had our first boy 3 years ago. And we loved it so much, and we knew that he had to have a playmate, so we decided to have another one who's now 1.5. So just an exciting process to go through that. You know, you always see in the movies how, you know, I'm ready, I'm having my baby, and you jump in the car and you rush to the hospital. It really is like that. I mean, we were, President Obama was in town.
Oh, wow.
Wilshire Boulevard, we're going to Cedars-Sinai, and what a wild time. I actually had to drive up on the sidewalk at one point to get around cars because the traffic was so bad. But it was really just what they depicted.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
You know, I thought, oh, well, it won't be that way because you know, I'll just drive nice and easy. But not knowing the traffic, I did whatever I could to get her to the hospital, and including driving on the sidewalk.
Good for you.
So
that's a story you always tell your kids later on, too.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You were never known as a playboy, were you? Or a wild child? I don't recall ever hearing any wild or bad stories about you at all.
Well, I was a quiet playboy. My father was a more notable playboy, but I felt it was always more fun and challenging to be behind the scenes, to do that kind of thing away from the limelight, because you know you start getting yourself exposed to the people that you date and things like that, and you know, it could be a recipe for trouble.
Absolutely. And it's fun to watch because, again, I never really heard anything bad or anything like that. I don't think I heard anything. You did keep it underneath, whatever the case was, and I thought that was good. And again, hats off to you. Because how tough was that to be growing up underneath your dad's shadow in a way? Was that okay for you, or was that tough?
No, it was great because his demeanor and personality lent itself to us doing just about anything we wanted. You know, we could, and we did everything. I mean, he would join us at Disneyland or Six Flags or, you know, wherever we ended up going. But at the same time, later on that evening, we might meet up at the Playboy Mansion. So it was quite a life, but it was actually easy to just take one step back away from the camera at times, and so I'm well known, but I'm not well known. So, but it was wonderful. You know, my dad was a great guy. He did everything with us. You know, a lot of love in the family. So it was, I mean, my perfect life. You know, I couldn't have written it better. But then again, I don't know any different. You know, so he was just a remarkable guy, and he one of his favorite things was going to movies. I mean, I can tell you, Wednesdays and Saturdays in the afternoon, he would be at the movies. You just knew that. No matter what was going on in his life, he was going to go see a movie on Wednesday or Saturday afternoon.
Which theater did he go to?
He went to all of them, whatever ones were showing what he wanted to see. But a quirky thing, he enjoyed matinee discounts. So if there was the same movie playing at two different theaters and one gave a better discount than the other, he was at the discounted place.
If I remember correctly, he could get away with just going and not really being recognized.
Well, yeah, I think in the 80s there was a huge popularity at that time. He was in the newspaper quite a lot, on television, and he was well recognized in the 80s. Now, when the 90s came along, you know, you had different players. Obviously, you had Shaquille O'Neal coming in, you had Kobe Bryant, and he kind of started taking a little step back. So he wasn't exposed as much back in the late 90s, early millennium. So, but you know, once we were going for that third championship in a row, 10 years ago, or actually not even 10 years ago, like 5 years ago, all of a sudden now he's in the limelight again, and he couldn't walk anywhere without being recognized. So, it really depends. Exposure is something, but people tend to forget a face, if it's not out there all the time. Obviously, you see that in entertainment. That's why you kind of love getting yourself into trouble or doing something. It's publicity. It gets your face out there. It keeps your face out there. You don't want the public to forget it about anything. So, and that's the same thing we do with the Lakers. We win a championship and back off, then win a championship. And that keeps the Lakers on everybody's mind.
What was one of his favorite movies, and what was it like growing up, you meeting all those superstars, going back to Jerry West, everybody coming out, and I'm thinking late 70s when Magic comes to town, right up through Showtime and Pat Riley and all that, because this must have been bird's eye view in your eyes. That's what I was interested in thinking.
Well, Showtime was created by my father and Pat Riley and Magic Johnson. It was an incredible time because we only just bought the Lakers at that time. So my dad coming in with new energy, the luck of the draw of having Irvin Johnson on our team, the strange quirk of having Pat Riley come in as coach after being the co-announcer for our television. It was a very strange time, but everything fell into place so perfectly that it was like you could not stop the Lakers, and you couldn't stop the Lakers. I mean, Boston might have beat us a couple times, that kind of thing, but on the most part, it was just, that was the end of the game. We had so much fun, so much excitement, just even getting to a finals. The challenging prospect of bringing in another new player. That all happened, and it was very exciting. And at that time, my father would host celebrities at the games, and I remember sitting right next to Sean Connery, right here, and actually talking to him. You asked my dad's favorite movies? James Bond for sure. Sean Connery, absolutely. Regarded as the great James Bond.
And that's why he's there.
He's there, but sitting with him, I was mesmerized because that was the actual first movie that I've ever seen in a theater was Goldfinger. My dad took us to the Chinese theater in Hollywood, and sitting in this huge theater for the first time and seeing this huge screen and seeing Goldfinger, it was quite a shock to me. It was unbelievable, And so I always had a feeling that James Bond was the greatest. I'm going to be like James Bond. He was my hero. Some people have sports heroes. It just turned out that Sean Connery was going to be mine, and now here I am sitting right next to him, and he's asking me questions about my life, and it was quite an experience. And
that's interesting.
If you're into the entertainment world, if you're into movies and television, which I am, I get starstruck. There's no question I do, and that was one of the highlights of my life. And it was great for him too, because he loved Sean Connery, and so I think they stayed in touch and did a few other things together, and but that was what my dad was all about. It was that period of time when the Lakers were just so exciting that we had all the top celebrities coming, having dinner, enjoying the game, meeting my father, and the Jack Nicholson is still sitting there after 35 years of this business.
Where is your seat at?
My seat is 10th row center.
Why is that?
It's actually the best place to watch the game. You get a little too close and you can't see through players. It's not the absolute best. The absolute best is probably in the corner, where you up a little higher, where you can really see plays develop. But the 10th row center, I'm not going to complain about that at all.
How do you see the game changing with comparison to when your father had the teams?
Well, I don't see it changing a lot. I mean, there was a philosophy there that myself and my siblings were basically educated for the last 34 years to know how it works, how the philosophy of winning championships works. And so I don't see it changing a lot. I really don't. Sometimes a player, an athlete, needs to know who they play for. And when they met my father, it was an immediate gravitation to, I want to play for that man. I want to play for him. And that sure helps out a lot when you're trying to win a championship.